Tasty Noodle House. We have one of my childhood favorites, vegetables and pork noodle that comes separately with this beautiful broth. And of course the Shanghainese Bao, the pork bun that's fried on the bottom. You see that nice crisp on the bottom. I want to pop these in the oven for a little bit. And you got your Xiao Long Bao. I'm gonna put it on a steamer on top of my rice cooker. And also, if you're Chinese, don't ever order rice from takeout. You can make it on yourself, right? Save a couple bucks. And you got the red braised pork here with the, what do you call it? The little bean curd nuts. This is gonna be super tasty on the rice. And just for good measure, we got a cold dish, chili with cucumbers. Let's do this. Tasty Noodle House. I cannot wait. You see, you got the red braised pork here, something that my dad always made. You got the Xiao Long Bao here. The problem with Xiao Long Bao is they don't travel well. It's tough, right? You got this noodle dish, which is what I ate for lunch a lot as a kid. I portioned out a little bit. It's pickled vegetables and pork with noodles. Super delicious. All you need is a little lao gan ma. You know what I mean? If you guys know about this, you're in good shape. And then, of course, I got some Shanghainese Bao here, you know, the fried pork buns. I stuck this in the oven for a little bit to reheat it, so it should be good to go. The big trick about, you know, ordering out with Uber Eats in order to deliver is reheat value. You know, like this, I just popped in the pan. Great reheat value. This is tough, man. This is something that I truly miss because the Xiao Long Bao, it's only great when you eat it in the restaurant, you know. Whereas the Shanghainese Bao, I may do, you know, put it in a very American oven, a little cross-culture action here. And I think, here's the thing, this is very important as a PSA. If you're Chinese or Asian, you should be ashamed if you ever Uber Eats and get delivery and order white rice, okay? You make your rice at home. So it's hot, it's ready, and it's free, okay? You don't just order extra rice, you know, that's another $2 that your mom would not approve. So you just pick up the little tippy top here. Don't break the skin, I already blew it. I broke the skin, okay? So, and then if it's a legit restaurant, they give you some little ginger on the side. You grab that, put it on top, dip it in your vinegar or soy sauce mix, whatever you got. Put it back in. You want to bite a little bit on the side, let the steam come out, you don't burn yourself. And then you suck the soup, and then you eat the whole thing, you see. That's what you want after. This, if it's done right, there's some soup inside too, so you always want to be cautious and just bite the bottom, get a little hole going. Oh, that's hot. Juice pop out. See, I put this in the oven at 350 for a couple minutes to heat it up. Worth it. Very good. And the portion is amazing here. It's great. That's how you know it's a legit Chinese restaurant. This is like 10 bucks. And it feeds like 3 people. I'm going to try this pork real quick. It's great. It's great. I just took the stringy part, but you see the translucent part here. You want half and half. It's delicious fat. It's amazing. Woo. Now let me properly do the noodle up. Get a little more soup. Now the noodle came separate, the broth and the noodles. That's how you know they put some thought into it so the noodle doesn't get soggy. I'm gonna get a little bit of my chili, some lao gan ma chili. That shit goes good with everything, okay? Oh. It's so simple. It really brings me back to my childhood. My dad used to make me this for lunch like every other day. It's just little pork strips, some vegetables, and some pickled vegetables. And it's such a brilliant taste, especially with that chili oil. I mean, just look at that color. Quintessential Shanghainese lunch. All right, let's do the red braised pork. This is very refreshing. It's a good in-between, but all the kind of fatty pork stuff. I would say though, the Shanghainese Bao, just like the Xiao Long Bao, doesn't travel too well. It's not the restaurant's fault, it's not Uber's fault. This place is very delicious, very authentic, but you know, it suffers a little bit when it travels. But there's nothing that beats a crispy bottom with sesame and a juicy pork in the middle. This is, I think, the laborer's dish in China. You know, like how people grab a burrito to go to work. People just grab one of these buns, hot and ready in the morning. They just go to work, and it has all the nutrients you need. Okay, inside this pork, there's like these bean curd. You see that? A knotted up bean curd. This thing is great. They knot it up just so the texture stays and it doesn't fall apart in this long braised dish. So, all the flavor is soaked in. Look at that. Look at all the folds inside of there. That's what all the flavor is. Mixed out with some rice. That's delicious. I don't know what it is. When it comes to the red braised pork, you know, you want the fat, the skin, and the lean meat. And you eat it this way, like a burger, you know? So you get a little bit of everything. If you just eat the fat, it's a little too heavy. If you just eat the meat, it's just a little too heavy. So this is what I'm gonna, Very good. Wash it down with a little noodle. Wow, delicious. I gotta say, all of these things are amazing, but the noodles, as simple as it is, it's my favorite. With the chili oil. Yeah. This is great. You can make this at your house. It just cucumbers, sliced, chili oil. You can put your lao gama in there or anything else, and garlic. That's it. And I think there's some soy sauce and vinegar for you know, seasoning. Just very comforting. I'm a little biased. I like this a little maybe more because I grew up eating a lot of these food in Hong Kong and my parents being Shanghainese. So here's the thing. The Xiao Long Bao, not the best. Maybe because it's the travel and you know, here's the thing. Xiao Long Bao, not the best, you know, but there's holes in them. It's because of the travel. It's not the restaurant's fault. Okay, so it's time for the Jimmy score. I'll say value, this is amazing. All of these are Chinese portions. Like this whole thing is like 10 bucks, right? This would like, you can feed like 3 people with like 10, 12 buns. The noodle was like 12 bucks. Everything is a good price. I'll say value, you definitely get the portion, the bang for your buck. I'll give it an 8.8 out of 10 because 8.8, that's a good number in China. And then for taste, I might be a little biased because I grew up in Hong Kong and my parents were Shanghainese, so I ate a lot of this growing up. There's a nostalgic factor. The Xiao Long Bao didn't travel well. That's not the restaurant's fault. These are still pretty good. You just stick in the oven, and the noodles, just so amazing and simple. I can eat this every day for lunch and dinner. So taste, I'll give it an 8.2 for a combined score of 16.10, which is 17. Is this how I used to do my scores? I forget. I think. Did I ever do decimals? Well, if it's not decimals, it rounded out to be 17 anyways. So this is great. Tasty Noodle House. I highly recommend it if you're in LA. They have 3 locations, one on the east side, one on the west side, and then one in the city center in West Hollywood. That, you know what? I'm gonna give this place another half a point. Give it 17.5 for its location. There's not really a lot of great Chinese food in West Hollywood and in the center of LA. But this place, authentic, Chinese-owned, legit, paying that West Hollywood expensive rent to feed you delicious Chinese food. Tasty Noodle House, 17 and a half, highly recommend.